Hello! Today is the day of no hating, the day of friendships, and foremost, the day of love. In the light of Valentine's Day, I and some other players came up with 5 setups to play on Valentine's Day with small lobbies. They are typically made for 8 players, but sometimes a bit more and sometimes a bit less. Only one role is shared in those setups, and of course, that gotta be the cupid. Without further ado, let's start with setup 1. Setup 1. Reach your crush. This setup consists of a wolf shaman, a wolf seer, a cupid or a seer bodyguard, a regular villager, a priest, and finally, a headhunter. You know, in love, the first phase is when you have butterflies in the stomach. I don't know if you've ever had a crush, but if you did or do, then your mind might be tilting when you approach your crush, even if you are not even about to talk to them. All you want is to satisfy your god, and hence you could consider it as some sort of mission to actually be with your crush. Well, this setup describes that process. As villager, you are relatively close to winning from the start, since only 2 roles are actually evil, but the wolf shaman and the headhunter may be a true hurdle. Lore-wise, you could consider the headhunter as someone else who has the same crush, and just before that finish line, they get away with the crush, and you are left disappointed. Personally, I've had a few crushes during my lifetime, but I never managed to get an actual relationship. Luckily, not because of someone else, but in this match here, the headhunter sealed that victory right at the end. Setup number 2. Try to hide love. If you are just past the crush phase and you are in love, you might first shy away from publicity. Personally, I don't know how this process goes actually, but when I see people in my surroundings be in love, they are quite secretive about it at first. Therefore, this setup should be included. Your goal is, especially as werewolf, to shy away from your true identity, but with a bunch of revealing roles that is quite difficult. Unfortunately, we did not manage to get this setup very balanced, but if you plan on doing this setup yourself, you might want to remove a wolf seer and add a regular villager. Initially, this setup also had a regular villager as 8th role. Can you keep your secret and stay under the radar? Or will they spot you? Setup 3. Classic love. At some point when you are more comfortable with the relationship, you are probably going to tell others about your relationship. In return, people might ask you very cliché questions like where you had your first kiss and how you know each other. In fact, love is such a big theme in life, in entertainment. Think about the thousands of songs about love and movies that are out there, and many clichés about love are recurring. You could call them classic. What is also classic? Of course, some of the oldest roles in Wolvesville in a game with cupid, seer, werewolf and that romantic villager. They are all truly classic, dare I even say stereotypical for werewolf games in general and especially for Wolvesville. Setup 4. How much is love worth? At some point during your relationship, you will hit some sort of friction because you will never share the same ideas 100%. Some events and thoughts will make you think twice about your relationship or will even challenge you to. How much is your love worth in your life? To what extent will you allow your lover to do certain things you actually do not agree on? In this setup, that hassle is getting a place with the inclusion of the sect leader. If your lover is a werewolf and you are a villager, the sect leader may break you 2 up. If you are a beast hunter and your lover is werewolf, will you then actually be able to sacrifice your ability and purpose for a bit more safety, or will you let your partner figure it out and risk dying? With this setup, you get to make choices, especially if you are a villager and your lover is werewolf. Setup 5.
Love is a bitch.
We might all dream of eternal love, but unfortunately or fortunately, not everyone can have that fate. Aside from countless songs about being in love, there's a countless amount too about breaking up. After falling in love, you might find someone else you feel more passionate about, or you get in a bad dispute with your partner and break ways up because of that dispute. If that happened to you, I feel sorry for you. In the final phase of love, love turns into a literal nightmare with the nightmare werewolf and the serial killer. 2 kills per night if they are on one line, and probably no way to protect other valuable people if you are on the village. But even as a nightmare werewolf, this setup is a nightmare, as you can see in this instance. The serial killer, the definition of pure evil, has no mercy and will end your life. Anyways, if you loved this video, make sure to subscribe, and from my loyal heart I will tell you that you won't be disappointed. Have a nice Valentine's Day and don't be a traitor to your love. Goodbye.